Heard about this shooting just before 11 o'clock this morning. It happened at ISD's Wilmer-Hutchins High School in southeast Dallas. That's right at the intersection of I-20 and I-45. Now, the student was shot in the leg. They are expected to be okay. The suspect, another student, as I told you a moment ago, was taken into custody today. We know that one teacher is credited with helping to defuse that situation, and thankfully, no one else got hurt. But it did create a chaotic scene, as Kevin Reese detailed for us a few moments ago, as parents rushed to check on their children. The big question now is, how did this student get through metal detectors and get on campus today with that gun? That's what police and school officials are trying to figure out now. So we return to our breaking news there out of southeast Dallas after that shooting. Maxie Johnson is a Dallas ISD board member who represents the district where this shooting happened today. Mr. Johnson, I know it has been a busy and painful day today, anytime that we hear of one of these incidents. So thanks so much for being with us here to fill in some of the blanks that we still have. I'll start with that question that I mentioned just before introducing you today, because it's on the minds of many. We know that they have metal detectors there on campus. So how did this student manage to get a gun in?
We're still trying to find out how this happened. We have metal detectors here, we have security staff, also cameras. So Dallas ISD administration is going through the cameras, and they're doing everything they can to possibly find out how this actually happened.
Though, just to know that this campus has been hardened in some ways, some security measures have been put in place, and yet here we are still talking about another shooting at a school.
This is a nationwide and statewide problem. As you know, that I'm a victim of senseless gun violence. I lost my son to senseless gun violence, and I've been very vocal and adamant and strong about making sure that all kids are safe. When parents send their kids to school, they're expecting us to keep all our kids safe. And so this is a very important issue, and we have unfunded and underfunded mandate by our governor concerning public education, and we're having to fit the bill and do everything possible to keep our kids safe. And this is an issue that's going on. I'm a gun owner, but we have to make sure that we find solutions to keep guns out of the hands of our children.
Yeah, we know that so many districts have been struggling with those mandates that you were just talking about from the state, and trying to figure out how to pay for this security that has been called for. And you mentioned, this is very personal for you. You lost your son to gun violence. And, so the question is, and I know that you live this every day. You think about this all the time. It's got to be heightened when you hear of another shooting at another school. This one, of course, right there in your district. What more needs to be done? If you've got the ear of the governor, the president, legislators, representatives, parents, what more needs to be done for our kids to be safe?
I would tell our governor to fund public education. Public funds belongs in public schools. He is obsessed with vouchers. And we have a problem. He needs to fund public education. If this keep on, it's going to paralyze and even bankrupt public education. So we're doing everything we can across the state of Texas to make sure that we have resources for our kids. His job, we need him to fund public education. We're doing everything. And so I'm a parent that have experienced this. And again, I'm a gun owner. But we must do everything possible to find solutions to keep guns out of the hands of our children.
Before we let you go here, I want to ask you about, parents. A lot of parents were, understandably upset today. They had frustrations about, how all of this unfolded. This is always a process that's being tweaked. You never know how these procedures are going to go until you, unfortunately, go through one of these. What do you say to those parents who just felt so frustrated today, not knowing where to go, not knowing, how their kids were doing?
We understand your frustration. I personally understand your frustration, but I can assure you that Dallas ISD is doing everything possible to make sure our kids are safe. We have procedures and policies in place, and you saw that today. That teacher, that male teacher that diffused the matter and made sure that no other child was hurt. He is a hero today. The system that Dallas ISD has in place for our superintendent is working. Yes, it needs to be tweaked, but more could have happened, and we're grateful that no one else was hurt. So we have a lot of work to do. There's no silver bullet to this. We have a lot of work to do. So we'll be having meetings with our community. I will be having more community meetings surrounding safety and security and making sure that we're doing more than what we think we should do, because we try to do our best, but sometimes we need to do more. But again, to our governor, fund public education. This is a problem, and it's a very serious problem, and public funds belong in public schools. That's my message to the state and to our governor.
Mr. Johnson, thank you so much, by the way, for looping us back and taking us back to the story of that teacher who intervened today, got that shooter out of the area where more students were. We could have been talking about a much different situation here this afternoon.
Absolutely, and thank you to our superintendent and the staff for doing a great job today, and our chief of police at Dallas ISD. Thank you guys for doing an awesome job today.
Dallas ISD board member Maxie Johnson, again, thank you so much for taking the time. I know it has been an exhausting and frightening day for a lot of folks, and frustrating as well. We really appreciate your time.